Hey, blessings. Welcome to another Law Enforcement Daily Devotional. As you can tell, I'm in a little bit different setting today. I had to leave the house really early this morning. Still got my Bible read done, but didn't have enough time to do today's daily devotional, and I've got to work late into the night doing a shift with PD tonight. So wanted to go ahead and get this daily devotional in. And today our read was out of 1 Kings. We had chapter 4, chapter 10, verses 14 through 29. Then we went to 2 Chronicles and read chapter 1, verses 14 through 17, and chapter 9, verses 13 through 28. And then our last section of read was Psalm 72. All great reads today. 1 Kings and 2 Chronicles were all about King Solomon and just the blessings God poured out on him and the promises that God had given David and Solomon about his kingship, his wisdom, and all the other blessings that God would add to them. Were kind of like today was just documentation that God is true to his word, and he blessed Solomon and the whole kingdom of Israel with all the things that he said he was going to bless them with. Wrote down a couple of things for takeaways, but then when I got to Psalm 72, which was kind of, when I was reading, I was like, why is Psalm 72 added to these? My phone's already blown over once and I've had to restart, so let me make sure we don't blow over. But anyway, I got to read in Psalm 72, and it was just an incredible law enforcement psalm. And I was like, well, Lord, thank you for putting this in here for us. And it is a blessing for us in law enforcement. But let me get into it. Psalm 72 was written by King Solomon. And in verse 2, King Solomon says, "May he judge your people with righteousness and your afflicted with justice." Now, when he says, "May he judge your people," Solomon is talking about a man-made justice, not man-made justice, but a man carried out, a man enforced, human enforced justice system on God's people. He says, may he, the man, judge your people, God's people, with righteousness, and God's afflicted with justice. So he's talking about us, maybe not directly, it doesn't say law enforcement, but we are in this position. If you carry out or you have a job where your daily duties and responsibilities are to make judgments on people that have contact or called 911 or contacted law enforcement for some reason, this is speaking to you. And I think it's very important that we, as the law enforcement officials, carry out God's justice and righteousness on his people. His justice and righteousness. We've spoken about this a lot. We understand this, but sometimes it says, or I've often heard that you have to do something 7 times to make it a habit. And then from making it a habit, you have to do it 70 more times to make it a discipline. So if I talk about this over and over again, it's a good thing. Let's make it a habit. And then from that, let's make it a discipline. Going down a little bit further, this is such an incredible prayer, and I want to read this to you, law enforcement, men and women. Listen to this. This prayer speaks of you and what you do. 72 verses 12 through 16. "For he will deliver the needy who cry out, the afflicted who have no one to help. He will take pity on the weak and the needy and save the needy from death. He will rescue them from the oppression and violence. For precious is their blood in his sight. Long may he live. May gold from Sheba be given him. May people ever pray for him and bless him all day long." That is a prayer for you, men and women of law enforcement, who rescue the needy, who take up the cause of the afflicted and the oppressed. And my prayer is that we don't become the afflictors or the oppressors, but that we would carry out God's justice. Remember, it's on his people. God loves his people and he looks after his people. So if we become the people that are doing the oppressing and the afflicting, well, then we're the object of this prayer. And we don't want to be that. We want to be the men and women who are being prayed for, who carry out God's justice and righteousness on his people. So, man, God bless you all. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. And guess what? I've got tomorrow's read ready to go. Tomorrow, we're jumping out of Kings and Chronicles and we're going to Proverbs. So read Proverbs 1, 2, and 3. And I'll meet you back here. Well, maybe not right here tomorrow, but hopefully I'll be back in my old setting. But I'll meet you tomorrow and we'll do this again. You guys be safe.